Hey guys, how's it going? Michael Troy here. Welcome to the Big Bang Anthology comic review director's cut. I'm going to spill all the tea today on the making of this big, gorgeous, beautiful book. What's next? I have an announcement about the book, and what's next for me. Stick around. We're going to have so much fun looking over the Big Bang Anthology. I have some news about it, and I have some other news about my next big project. So subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. Hit that like button, and let's get right into it. Okay, so a year ago, I put together a huge anthology collection, anniversary tribute to Big Bang, treasury size, as you can see from the standard Alpha Flight facsimile edition, how freaking huge this comic is. So it's big, beautiful, gorgeous, full of amazing art. One comic book, two covers. On the left here, we have the Golden Age flavored Carrie Callan cover, which is completely amazing. Gary Carlson, the co-publisher and co-founder of Big Bang, is a huge fan of Carrie Callan and has wanted to work with him for a long time. So I was very happy to facilitate that by getting Carrie to do our cover, one of our covers for the Big Bang Anthology. And honestly, I was peripherally aware of him, most famously for that shot of like Wonder Woman opening her shirt and just exposing her bra underneath rather than her costume. So he's very tongue-in-cheek, very campy, but very traditionally superhero, and surprisingly, or maybe not surprisingly, an excellent fit for Big Bang at the suggestion of my friend and Big Bang contributor Sam J. Royale. So thank you for Sam for bringing Gary Callan into this project. It would not be the same without him. Such a beautiful, iconic image. It will definitely stand the test of time. And on the right, we have our Jim Rugg cover. Jim Rugg, cover artist extraordinaire, did this Silver Age inspired baseball card cover, which is amazing, featuring all these great Big Bang characters. We actually turned the images into a pack of trading cards plus other images as an add-on incentive for the campaign, and they were so cool. So I feel like Big Bang has been around for a long time. And you know, I wanted to do something special for them. They've never had a treasury, so I'm glad we could do a treasury. So these books are identical except for the covers, and that includes the back cover, which is the amazing send-up of those old like Charles Atlas ads done by the amazing Jason Quinones. On the Carrie Callan cover, we have the color version because Gary preferred that, and so I thought I would do that for him. And on the it's Jim Rugg cover, we have the black and white version, which I think is super fun and sort of, you know, more reflective of the times since those ads were always in black and white. But both versions are gorgeous, and I'm so happy they're a part of it. So on the inside cover, I did an old Image Comics trick and just did like a gray scale version of the front cover. And then this is the table of contents. Normally I would read the table of contents, but there were so many people contributing to this book, I will just name them as we go through it. We have Cosmic Lion Productions logo. I did MFT Productions. This was a production from Cosmic Lion, Big Bang, and MFT. Eli Schwab with Cosmic Lion was instrumental, huge inspiration for this book through one of his books, Ghost Agents. I knew that he would be able to help make my dream come true, and he did. Thank you, Eli. I loved working with you, and I'll always be grateful for everything he did. He actually lettered one of the stories and helped me like lay out the book and got it to the printer. It looks freaking gorgeous. We printed in China. Like, it just looks so beautiful. The art is so crisp and beautiful. The page stock is like slightly glossy. It is just absolutely stunning. I could not be more happy with this book and how it turned out. It was so nerve-wracking. I didn't want to deliver a shitty book with poor production, and it was such a relief when the books finally arrived from the slow boat to China, and they were beautiful, so I'm so happy for that. So we opened the book with this great spook story that I colored, written and illustrated by Brian Payne. The spook is sort of like Big Bang is full of like homages and amalgams of like Golden Age and Silver Age superheroes that Gary Carlson and Chris Ecker love and grew up with, and they wanted to make the kind of comics that they love. So that's kind of what Big Bang is all about. And I think all of the best comics are kind of the comics that you want to read, making the comics you want to read. And I'm a huge like Marvel fanfare fan. I love anthologies. Interview magazine, believe it or not, was an inspiration for this. So there's a lot of inspiration. I was pretty much laser focused. I knew how, like, what I wanted to include and how I wanted it to look. I wanted to open with actual story rather than a pinup or a title page because it's a comic book, and I wanted to let people know right away that this is a comic book with stories. I wish the stories could be longer. We didn't really have the budget to pay for too much art and stories. I did a lot of the heavy lifting myself by coloring. I colored Brian. I love his spook. He does this great homage to like Frank Miller here. Chris Ecker, the spook's creator, thought it was really clever and complimented Brian for coming up with something he didn't even think of. So I kind of love the magical little moments that happen on that. And should we also point out how great Brian's hand lettering is? He is such a great cartoonist, like in the wheelhouse of like Dave Sim or Frank Miller or Will Eisner. So he will always be on every project I do, hopefully. And he has like helped provide the skeleton for the book, and I just love my collaborations with him. I feel like he just inspires me to do like really fun colors, and I just want to outdo myself every time we work together, and I hope that I do. Casey Bouchard illustrated this Empathy for Diablo story, written by me. Casey did have a lot of input. He was kind of one of those people who wanted to change a lot of things, sometimes without my knowledge. And I say, do not do that, people, especially when you're working with somebody else's property. I was very beholden and careful to Gary Carlson, so I wanted to make sure I didn't change anything. So I did have a little bit of back and forth with Casey, but we eventually got it to where we wanted it to be, and it is so beautiful. I love it. His art is amazing, a little quirky and kooky like the man himself, and it is totally gorgeous. One of the longer stories in the book. I feel like it gives the book the kind of gravity that it needed, and it was really good. So I love the story that me and Casey did. He did sneak in an Alfred E. Newman on the moon, so I let him have that. Okay, your little ounce of rebellion right there, Casey. This is stunning. The Q method. I literally audibly gasped when I saw this. It is a beautiful depiction of Venus, who is very much inspired by the Statue of Liberty with like her crown and everything. Obviously, she's, the Big Bang's universe's sort of version of Wonder Woman. And I don't know, like this is one of those like aha moments too, like the Q method's inspiration to paint her skin and make her look like the Statue of Liberty was just like genius and a half. He is so amazing, so talented. You've probably seen his work around the web. He does a lot of like inking and coloring of Frank Miller, like DK work, and it is so good. It is so good. He's on my next project. I'm so happy. It's just gorgeous. Gary loved it too, so I was happy with that. This is like one of the most amazing things in the book. It was so great to get Carrie's cover. I was so excited. He was very enthusiastic, very fun, very amazing person, like so great to work with. I feel like his personality sort of echoes his sort of easy, like just like fun, like sort of like tongue-in-cheek kind of humor here. Written, lettered, colored by Carrie Callan, most notably known for his work on Mad Magazine. And he just nailed the character of Dr. Weird here, and it is so good. Dr. Weird is sort of like the Spectre, Doctor Strange of, what do you call it? The Big Bang universe. And it is hysterical. So good. This book is available for sale on Cosmic Lion Productions website. The good, exciting news is that Cosmic Lion now has a deal with Diamond's distributor book, and they've been listing their books month by month. I specifically requested January because that is my birthday month, and I thought, what better birthday present than to get my beautiful anthology and previews for my birthday that month. So Big Bang has another chance at glory. Big Bang Anthology has another chance at glory being listed in the previous magazine in January. And I know that Gary and Chris are very excited about that because a Big Bang book hasn't been in previews in over a decade. So it will be very super exciting to see that. Hey, tell your comic book stores to order it when you see it if you don't have it, or even if you do. Like, Big Bang, I lament often, is like, and part of the reason I wanted to do this book is I feel like it's the best kept secret. Like when I started doing my deep dive research into the book, I was like, holy crap, there is so much here. It is so great. It is so amazing. It is so beautiful. Okay, I totally skipped. This is supposed to be the director's review. This is my pinup of Dr. Weird. I have some pinups. I have, like, my contribution is on almost every page in this book. This is my love letter to Big Bang, and I took it very seriously and wanted to deliver a gorgeous book, and here it is. So I had a lot of fun doing this pinup. I thought it came out pretty cool. Evan Quiring, known for his Murder City Devil and other fun comic books, did a great Canadian Winnipegger, Evan Quiring, and great traditional comic book superhero artist, was a perfect fit for Big Bang with his gorgeous, fun superhero style, colored gorgeously by Diego Vasquez, his go-to guy for coloring. What was I going to say about Evan? It just looks great. It looks perfect. He wanted to do, what do you call it? The Night Watchman, but everybody wanted to do the Night Watchman, so I was glad that we did the badge instead, teaming up with Ladybug. I kind of wanted to team up some, characters. I wanted to get as many characters as I could. Some were off limits, but like I've got Beacon and El Diablo in here in the first story together, so that was fun. A cameo from Mr. Martian, so I was glad to have that in there. They're fighting the Pink Flamingo is traditionally Night Watchman's enemy, but Beacon and the Badge and Ladybug are fighting him, so that's fun too. This is so cool. Stephen A. Wilcox, I met probably, I don't know how I met him, but I've known him for years, and I knew, he's a really fun, traditional, superhero artist. Huge John Byrne fan. That's one of our common threads that bind our friendship. But he's consistently working. He's got a major output of work. He has a great traditional superhero style. And I knew I wanted to know on the book. He wanted Night Watchman. I was going to write the story. Chris Ecker, the creator of Night Watchman, wound up writing it, which excited Stephen and everybody, of course. So Stephen penciled and inked it. Eli Schwab, the great Eli Schwab, the producer and editor-in-chief of Cosmic Lion Productions, lettered the story, and I colored it. So it was such a jam, and one of the pieces that sort of I don't know, is the heart of the book in a way, because it tied old Big Bang, new Big Bang, Cosmic Lion. It was such a great mashup. I had such fun coloring this story. Stephen kind of wanted an 80s inspired art, and I feel a story, and I feel it's kind of in there. I was kind of trying to go for that a little bit with my colors. I don't know if I completely pulled it off, but whatever. It looks gorgeous. I'm happy. I threw in, I feel this, I always wonder what colorists and inkers do that, I hate noticing mistakes. That blue shouldn't be there, but anyway, his shadow is the Night Watchman's shield, so I thought that was a nice touch on my part. Allow me to stop and pat myself on the back for a minute. Great story, loved it, so glad it's here, amazing. This is very cool too. I like tried to use some old art, some new art. I wanted to marry the past with the future and do something for old fans, new fans, red fans, blue fans. So this is a Night Watchman pinup by the great Chris Ecker, the creator of the character. Inked by, forgive me, I forgot his name. It's listed in the credits, but he's like I think he was like a Dick Tracy artist. So that was very cool. This was done as part of a pitch for a Night Watchman movie that never came to be. These characters are begging for Hollywood, okay? Um, so anyway, Chris let me color it, and we included it here. And I really love how it came out. It was so much fun to color Chris, and it looks so cool. I'm so happy it's here. Now this is interesting. I saw this in the Megaton archives that came out a year or two ago from Image Comics that collects the first several issues of Big Bang's Megaton and his appearances, um, before Big Bang or whatever. Don Simpson was coming out with Megaton Man, and they had just done Megaton. So Don Simpson, mostly known as like a humorist, sent him this illustration of what might be confusing of Megaton Man meeting Megaton and how the readers felt about it. And I'm so glad that they both just kept their names and went with it, and were sort of like, we trust people to figure it out. But anyway, it was a black and white illustration. I asked Gary and Don if I could use it for the book. I've admired Don's work for a long time, so it was like very much a thrill to be able to color it and include it in here. Don was very negative and said that people don't like anthologies and that this would never happen and blah blah blah. So low key, this was definitely an I told you so. And I think that spite is always a good motivator. So if you can get things done with spite, I highly recommend it. But just kidding. You should do it with love and inspiration. This was another coup, I felt. The great Monty Keene, mostly known for Bootleg Spider-Man, did this amazing illustration. I reached out to him, and he turned it around super quick and really nailed it. I was kind of horrified to show it to Gary. I was like, I don't know if he wants to see Ultiman's face being ripped off, but he loved it, and as any smart editor would. It's just gorgeous, so much fun, and I'm so happy to have it in the book. So thank you, Monty. This was cool too. These two pages are from Gary Carlson's college days. He wanted to be an artist, as a lot of writers do. I think Marv Wolfman comes to mind, like Alan Moore, Grant Morrison can all draw. I think Neil Gaiman too. Tim Burton is a beautiful artist. So anyway, I often feel as an editor on this book, I did thumbnails, I did layouts for people. I feel like it definitely makes you a better editor, and Gary has proved that over the decades in the business. One of the magical things about this book was just working with Gary. I really felt like he was such a great mentor. He's a man of few words, so you have to hang on to those words and cherish them when you get them. But I could tell he really liked the book and was happy with what we did with it. For him, I wanted to include this old piece that he did for college, some college project or whatever, a 2-page comic book story. And I recolored it, and I think it looks so cool and so much fun. And I have to say, young artist Gary was pretty proficient, and his storytelling and fight choreography are so on point. So definitely the potential was there, and it's no surprise that Big Bang has been around for as long as it has. Check out this gorgeous pinup on the left. This is Tony McMillan's homage to Steranko, Nick Fury, Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. Agents of Badge is, Big Bang's quasi version of that. And so, as an editor, you got to lure people with little buzzwords like Steranko, S.H.I.E.L.D., blah, 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 homage, da, da, da. And of course, he just released his book Attaboy from Mad Cave not too long ago. Just had a successful Kickstarter for Serious Creatures Real 2. Tony McMillan is the man, one of the nicest, most thoughtful, and talented cartoonists working today that I am so privileged to know and have on my project. So he's on my next book too, as is the next one. Artist. I know you're probably like, what is your next book, Michael? But a lot of you probably already know. But anyway, this is so good. I made one little note on this about the smoke standing out, and Tony added like this little bit of white and made it perfection, and it's beautiful. You know, as an editor and an artist, it's like you got to walk the balance of, because artists do have fragile egos, God knows, I know, because I'm one of them. And so there's a way to be gentle and ask for changes and blah, blah, blah. But luckily, you know, this was like fly by the seat of the pants. The budget wasn't huge. I was trying to maximize the most story for what I could do. And, you know, so none of the stories are too long, but they're all so good. Definitely leave them wanting more. I would love to do a sequel to this. Hopefully that is in the future. We'll have to see what happens. This story is amazing. 4 pages of Milo Trent. We worked pretty closely on this together. We did the story, came up with the story. Milo did the art and the lettering. Casey did a little pinch hitting. I love that I'm using these baseball terms. I do consider these artists my all-stars, so I don't know shit about baseball, but I'm gonna use the terminology whenever I see fit, and you be damned. So like I said, I wanted to have enough characters. This is like fun nostalgia. Thunder Girl and Kid Galahad are basically having ice cream at an ice cream parlor and waxing nostalgia about their interactions with Dr. Binana, the chimp, evil chimp. And so we did this 2-page spread. It was so much fun laying this out too. Like, the artists were very excited about the fact that this was going to be treasury size, and they got the memo and like took full advantage of the big beautiful like canvas that they had to work on. And it literally, like, if you think it looks good watching this video, when you hold it in your hands, I mean, I did cry. You can ask Eli. We were sitting at frickin' Starbucks and I'm crying like a baby because I'm so overwhelmed at how beautiful this this beautiful, gorgeous book is. I'm so proud of it. I love it so much. All the artists are so gorgeous. We homage like movie posters to sort of correlate with the adventures that they've had with Dr. Binana over the years, and Milo just knocked it out of the park. He says he's not fast, but look at this detail, and he turns it around like in a fair amount of time. So, you know, don't knock yourself, Milo, because you take exactly as long as you need to produce these gorgeous results. I mean, look at this. This is so much fun. And I did this Thunder Girl. This was obviously inspired by Marilyn Monroe, and Gary liked it, so I was happy about that. I'm very insecure about my own art, and not so much my coloring. I was happy to color all over the place, but, you know, to just let your art... Nobody's ever, like, gagging over my art, but I love it anyway, so it doesn't matter. And next we have Sam J. Royale, who I mentioned suggesting Carrie Callan for the book. I first experienced Sam's art. He did the cover for Weapon X, a fan tribute to Barry Windsor Smith's Weapon X, and I thought it was really cool. Loved his style. Immediately friended him and started following him, and he really resisted being on this book because he didn't have time, and I basically begged him, forced him. Like, I'm not proud of that, but I am proud of the results. They're completely gorgeous. He chose Shutterbug. I picked characters for a lot of the artists that I thought would do well with, but Sam is kind of one of those, like, very succinct, like, artists. Like, he's very much, like, wanting, like, he even sent, like, what do you call it? Like, guidelines, how it trim, where it should be trimmed and, like, how it should be laid out. He's very anal about his art, as he should be, because the results are gorgeous. So Shutterbug is sort of like Big Bang Spider-Man. So Sam and I, honestly, are kind of obsessed with the 60s Spider-Man cartoon and how psychedelic and great and gorgeous it was. So that was like a large inspiration for Sam's contribution to this book. He nailed it, next leveled it. It's gorgeous. He was only going to do 2 pages, but then he wanted to sort of take advantage of the treasury size and came up with 2 more, and I'm so happy. It's really funny, very tongue-in-cheek. It's so good. It's so Sam J. Royale. Bill McAvoy did this great Megaton pinup. Beautiful use of colors. I really like it. Which reminds me, he was another person that I kept having to scream, brighter, brighter, brighter. Like, I wanted this to be as bright. I'm known for my light garish colors. I've toned it down a little, but I wanted this. I grew up with bright, beautiful superhero books, and I wanted this to be bright and beautiful, and it is. I hate modern colors that are so muddy and dark. You can't even see the art. And I just wanted it to be bright and beautiful and shiny. What can I say? It is. This, I say every part's my favorite part, but this is low-key one of my favorite parts for a lot of reasons. It's just a fun little 3-pager with the amazing Christian J. Misi, otherwise known as Misimo. He's on my next project too, another one of my all-stars. He's known for his speed, and it took him a while to get there, but once he got it, he turned it out so quick and so gorgeous, and he like digitally hand lettered, but it's so cute. I sent him a 3-page layouts. He didn't change barely anything at all, which I was super flattered because he definitely knows what he's doing. And we just worked it in really fun. I loved it. The sort of crossword puzzle buildings in the back were done on purpose. This is an homage to an homage. This is an homage to the scene in Watchmen on Patrol, which was an homage ripoff of Don Simpson's Megaton Man on Patrol. I go into it. There's like an extensive section in the back, the making of this book, and I go into a lot of details in that I'm talking about now. Now this, Barry Tan, if I hoodwinked anyone on the book, it has to be Barry Tan. He started out with a modest 2-page contribution to illustrate modest. Not very modest, not very demure when you see it, because they're epic, large, in charge, and in your face. And his 2 turned into 7, I think. So, I interviewed him recently for the channel, and he said that I was very good with my silver tongue, dangling carrots, when I was like, oh, an homage to Bill Sienkiewicz's house ads featuring Power Man and Iron Fist. But using Megaton and Night Watchman would be so fun. And Barry did it, and I colored it, and we used it to promote the Kickstarter campaign. And it is jaw-dropping. It is gorgeous. It is fun. It is... I just love Barry Tan's art so much. It is so gorgeous. And he mainly does it as a hobby. And, wow. So maybe that's the route to go, because you produce gorgeous results like this. So proud to have it in the book. I really felt like I grew as a colorist so much on this book, because I really challenged myself. I wanted it to look good and professional. I didn't want it to look cheap. This is my first big adventure. I'm so glad I had Eli there to hold my hand. Everything looks perfect. I'm so proud of it. This is my pinup of Megaton. I like how it came out. And this is another Bill McAvoy Megaton to sort of bookend the Megaton section of the book. This is gorgeous. Todd Blackwood. What a revelation. I don't know. I was just scrolling. Instagram is such an asset for artists. I will tell you, because I was just scrolling through Instagram, and I think he made a post referencing Jason Pearson, but I looked at the art first and thought it was absolutely gorgeous. And then since Jason Pearson was my friend, very near and dear to my heart, I miss him so much every day. And so just being a gorgeous artist and liking Jason Pearson, I randomly reached out to Todd to see if he might want to be involved. And he did this gorgeous Sheena picture, which is amazing. Sheena from Berserker. Everybody loves this. This is so gorgeous. I think he uses this to like advertise at cons, like with his, what do they call those, like standees or whatever, banner. That's what. And he wanted to do like Night Watchman and Ultiman, and who am I to say no? And so much fun. Like, I am so glad I discovered him. I feel like he's my friend now and my confidant. He did the art for the promo for my next book, and he's working on his own like book right now, which is amazing. I will be talking about that on my channel when it comes out. It's gonna have a Kickstarter. It's so good. I cannot wait to like even talk about it, but it's beautiful. Um, it was so funny that when I sent this to Gary, like he said something about Night Watchman needing to go on a diet or something, which I thought was really hilarious because this is a big, thick and juicy Night Watchman and Ultiman, which I love. Like super big. It sort of reminds me of like Alex Ross doing them, how they look like so big and almost like dad body in a way. But Chris Ecker has said that like this is kind of how he envisions Night Watchman, because more like a wrestler kind of body. So it kind of worked out well. But Gary's like unintentionally hilarious a lot. I don't think he knows that, but now he does. I was so excited to get this. Like, this is another coup for the book. Nick Cagnetti, Pink Lemonade, if you don't know him, such an amazing artist. I wanted to have, like I was thinking about the book as a physical, tactile thing, just like dancing in my head the whole time as I was like trying to put it together. I knew it was going to have a centerfold, and I knew that it should be gorgeous. And then I came up with, I wanted a Berserker 2-page spread by Eric Larson. I think he was interested in doing our cover, but he actually had COVID like right around the time, so like couldn't be involved. And then, so hey, if Nick Cagnetti is your default, you couldn't ask for a better default. I sent him a thumbnail of this, and he stuck to it pretty accurately, which was very flattering to me because Nick Cagnetti certainly does not meet my layout. And I just cannot believe the amount of like detail and work he put into this. It is so beautiful, and this like crazy angle he captured is amazing. It's just bursting with like power and like Allred and Jack Kirby and maybe even a little Eric Larson too. So it all worked out for the best. This is completely gorgeous. I adore Nick Cagnetti. He's an amazing person and a gorgeous cartoonist. If you do not follow him, you definitely need to. This is what I'm talking about, okay? This is Barry Tan's first and most amazing contribution to the book. I shouldn't say that, they're all amazing, but this Berserker, it doesn't get much better than this. It is so beautiful. It looks like a movie poster inspired by like sumo wrestlers and manga and just like, I don't know what, but the coloring is sublime. The pose is so cool. He looks menacing. Oh man, like to like, if I were to bring like out a whole line of Big Bang comics today, like this would be the cover of Berserker #1. And this very well could be the cover of Dr. Weird #1, also by Barry Tan. It looks so fun. He was inspired by Kaza. I forgot the artist's first name, but the homage is kind of evident, and it's beautiful. It's gorgeous. A little bit of Alphonse Mucha, kind of maybe with the Art Nouveau-ishness of it. It's just really beautiful. Barry Tan is so versatile, just so amazing. He can always like sort of transform into different styles while keeping himself at the core at the same time. I don't know how he does it. He's amazing. Another great Brian Payne story, Teen Rex, King for a Day. Brian Payne was the king of the 2-pagers. Then he became the king of the 3-pagers. I don't know. Like, he's just the king of any page amount of comics. I just went nuts with the colors on this. Teen Rex is like a teenager who can turn into a Tyrannosaurus Rex with the amulet around his neck. It's sort of like commandy, sort of like, I don't know. Who's the Marvel one? I don't know. Moon Devil Dinosaur? There you go. But too much fun. Brian Payne is also another one of those artists who has like, I was gonna compare him to himself in a spook story, but I was gonna say just has such a firm grasp on like the Big Bang universe. Brian Payne is actually the reason I did this book. I forgot I was gonna mention this. After I had worked on a couple of fan projects with Brian, he knew I was looking for something fun to do. Put me in touch with Gary Carlson. We had decided to work together. I was gonna draw a story for him. It never really worked out, but it was always nagging at me in the back of my brain that like I wasn't gonna let the lid on my coffin shut before I had the chance to work with Gary Carlson. And after I interviewed him on my channel, the idea came for this anthology. I pitched it to him. He said yes, and here we are. And I'm so glad it exists. So beautiful. Brian brought some of the more obscure, like less obviously like exciting characters to the book, and I'm so glad we were able to spotlight a lot of them. Ultiman, another collaboration between Barry Tan and me. I sent him like a super loose thumbnail of my a picture of Ultiman homaging Superman that George Perez did in History of the DC Universe, and like Barry like suddenly inked it and mailed it back to me, and then I colored it and it looks so fun. I love his eyes like that. It's kind of like CC Beckish in a way, and I'm so happy it's here. Thank you, Barry, for just like being susceptible to my charm. And I did this Ultiman pinup. I wanted to do something like that looked like it was kind of painted. I was experimenting. I wanted to do something fun with the logo. I have a lot of like pop art influence or aesthetic to my art. So this is a fun one too. Paul Sauro. I'm sorry, I don't know how to pronounce your name, Paul. Paul Sauro. Anyway, we did the Blitz and what do you call it? The Blitz and Mike Merlin. I mean, Mike Merlin is so obscure. This came together really well. I love it. Paul is like a storyboard artist. This looks very animated. The storytelling is amazing. This was a fun collaboration. I'm so happy with how it came out. And it's really fun. We were able to get the Blitz in here too. So Mike Merlin and the Blitz. And I just really loved it. Like, it's magical. It takes place at a library. It felt very like old school, but looked very modern. So that was kind of what I like about Big Bang too. Like, I'm all about like the nostalgia of it. If I feel like they've been updated, but if it were up to me, they would all take place in the 50s and 60s. Another great pinup from Bill McAvoy. Love the animated feel of this, the motion of the characters. I love his style. It's very like fun and quirky. And then I did my own Blitz, which I was happy with how this came out. Once again, experimenting with effects and different things. And Chris Ecker gave me a compliment comparing it to some famous manga, which I will take any day. Thank you very much for the compliment. And then to round out our Blitz portion of the book, Brian Payne, the king of the 2-pager, nay 3-pager, is now the king of the 1-pager, doing this Blitz instructional how to do the 2-step or something, which I thought was really fun, with Thunder Girl, and I colored it. And I love doing it. I would do anything with Brian Payne, any comic book out there. I'm there to color it. This looks gorgeous. I love this. Ancient Mariner. Sort of like what, I guess, like the Submariner meets Aquaman. I love his like robot and the dinosaur in here. These are like some fun panels that I really outdid myself in the coloring here, I have to say. But once again, like I said, Brian is my muse and always brings out the best in me. So I was very happy to color this. It is so cool. I love this story. It's just the fun of Big Bang. And speaking of fun, Joe Janofsky is like a super fun cartoonist. coming in like right under the wire. I had been like back and forthing with him for a long time, and then he finally produced this beautiful, fun 2-page Whiz Kids, which is basically like Big Bang's Teen Titans. So it's sort of like a Teen Titans Go Whiz Kids mashup. And it's just a lot of fun. It's hilarious and beautifully illustrated, super cartoony. I love it. I love the fact that the aesthetic of the book is kind of all over the place. There's like grim and gritty, there's dark, there's super realistic, there's like traditional superhero, and then there's like cartoony as well. I did this pinup. I was gonna do a full story, but like, I don't know, it was so much work putting this book together that I didn't have time to do like a full story. But I wanted to include a pinup. I kind of wanted to create a new character for the Big Bang universe. So, I know how I'm going to make it happen now, but I can't tell you, but I just thought of it. But anyway, so this is based on a Halloween decoration I have, but one of my favorite ever. And so it's the Atomic Sub versus the Flaming Mermaid. And how bad do you want to see this story happen, don't you? I do too. Okay. Jason Von Grimm Foster is another great underground cartoonist and friend. I love him so much. He's hilarious. We always have a good time working together. We're working together on my next book. I'm in the middle of working on it, and it is so hysterical and off the wall, just like our Protoplasman story. It was like the Plastic Man of the Big Bang universe. And so I love Kyle Baker. I loved his Plastic Man. I wanted this to look very like cartoony and animated. I think I pulled it off a lot. Jason did like layouts. We kind of co-plotted it together. I came up with some dialogue. He came up with a lot of the dialogue, most of it, I think. And then I kind of inked and colored it and lettered it. And it just looks gorgeous. It's funny because I just had him like do layouts. And then when I got the layouts, I'm like, I wish I would have had him do like full pencils and inks. Because he has such a great like gesture in his line art that is impossible to like capture or recreate. So I hope that enough of that comes through. And I also loved him for giving me a cameo in the book as Troy Michaels. Hilarious. Love that. I should be in my book, damn it. If you're gonna be meta. And then I don't know, like I said, I just went crazy all over the place with the colors. We ended in black and white, which was like my random homage to Wizard of Oz. This cop looks like Don Knotts. I don't know. It was just silly and fun. I love this story. And who's the villain? Oh my gosh. I can't even tell you her name because it'll give away the story, but it's so much fun. You know, Brian leaned into the Frank Miller sort of aspect, homage of doing the spook story. So in turn, Barry Tan was inspired by Brian Payne's homage to Frank Miller and came up with this spook Frank Miller homage of his own, which is amazing and welcome, of course. I love that. See the versatility of Barry Tan. And so we have another spook story in here by Brian. Brian is one of those people who just like, I don't know, he's like a creative like tour de force. Like once he starts, it's hard to stop. And then like he has to get it all out. And then once it's done, it's done. But he kept coming up with a couple more ideas. And I'm never going to say no to Brian, okay? Whether it's he wants to come add more story, more art, whatever he wants to do, that's fine with me. Especially since I usually get to color it. And I was super happy with how this came out. Doing something different on everything we work together. So just to keep it fun and interesting for the readers and us, right? Barry, this is his Dick Sprang tribute to Night Watchman. I love it. It's so much fun. It looks very much like a Silver Age color. Love the cover. Love the logo art he did in here. And I did color this one as well, and it was super fun to color. And he also did this other Frank Miller inspired Night Watchman, which I also colored, and I'm also happy to have included it, and it looks amazing, and I love it. Thank you again, Barry. You're so good. The Big Bang Theory was the title of the Big Bang letters page. So I use that as my sort of like afterword or introduction, who the hell I am and why the hell I'm doing this. The extensive sketchbook section, it is a little longer than it probably should be, but I think that the artists and people who appreciate it are like, I love behind the scenes stuff. So, like Jim's original layouts here for his cover, my layout for Nick's spread, Barry Callen's initial layouts. I mean, it's just so much fun. I love the nuts and bolts to this stuff, and I feel like it just makes it just a better experience for the reader and for the people who put all the hard work into it. They're all here. Everybody got their own page. Isn't that crazy? What do you know? Mike Madrid. We will get to you, Mike Madrid, in a second. Paul Soriro. I feel like it's just probably really easy to pronounce. Anthony Andujar. We haven't gotten to you yet. Just so much fun, right, guys? You can buy this and have it like in a week at CosmicLionProductions.com. This was my homage to Tama Finland. I don't think if I ever admitted that out loud before, but there it is in a Big Bang comic book. And this, one of my other absolute favorite parts of the book. I almost cried when I got this. It's so good. Paper dolls. I don't know. I loved paper dolls. I loved paper doll books when I was little. I feel like perhaps a gateway to comic books. I don't know. The art was always sort of comic book-esque in a way. I wanted Trina Robbins to do this. She was going to do a Venus pinup, but after I sent her like some of the research, I don't think she understood what it was, and she bowed out. So Mike Madrid, who is one of my friends or colleagues, acquaintances, amazing artist, he was posting like a bunch of like Zoom live art, and I was like, oh my gosh, this amazing artist, a writer, is also an amazing artist. I have to have him in my book. And come to find out, he actually collaborated with Trina Robbins in the past, so it kind of all like magically worked together. And this is a gorgeous 2-page spread. I gave him very little direction, and he just came up with so many fun iterations of the character of Venus. I almost want to cut them out and like do that, like use them, but I'm not gonna. I couldn't do that to a comic book. Maybe if I had extra copies. Another amazing contribution to the Big Bang book, and a collaboration between me and Brian Payne. Also loved how this came out. Like, the colors are just so much fun. Brian, I think he did this, like, I think he was feeling, no wait, I'm not gonna put words in his mouth, but he was feeling like he didn't take advantage of the, what do you call it? The treasury size enough. So, he did this. He did a few more extra stories, and he really did, like, I think it looks great. I mean, obviously the treasury format is loving it, and it was fun to color. And who doesn't want more Teen Rex? We opened the book with Brian Payne and a story, and I wanted to finish it with actual story as well. And it's gorgeous. I'm so happy it's here. So, on the inside cover, back cover, we have the cover that you didn't get on the other one. And that's the real only difference, is the cover. And then this has the black and white version of the cover inside. And then this has the Carrie Callen inside. So it's all complete. And there you have it, guys. And so what am I working on next? Okay, so the big news for Big Bang Comics is that it'll be in previews in January. I said that already. And the big news for me is, in case you already don't know, I'm working on an Elementals Anniversary tribute book that is currently live on Kickstarter. I'll put a few images in to teach you, and a link to the Kickstarter, so that if you think this Big Bang book is good, then hopefully you like the comics I make. It's the first solo MFT Productions book. Eli is my Jiminy Cricket, and silently helping me out when I need it behind the scenes. I love Eli, and I loved working with him on this book, and I learned a lot from you, and hopefully I do you proud with my new book. So I post a lot of art. It's Elementals tribute, new art, old art, interviews, articles, an artist edition section. I was able to track down original art from some owners who sent me scans of the art. So it's going to be super cool. The Kickstarter ends October 3rd, so you want to get on it. And like I said, Big Bang will be in previews in January, but don't wait. Go get it now. Go to cosmiclionproductions.com. I'll also link that in the description, and you can pick up your copy of this big, gorgeous, beautiful book that I am so proud of. So that's it for today, guys. Thanks for watching. Go pledge to my new Kickstarter. I need the help. We're 72% funded, but I will not rest until we are funded. Keep watching my channel. Stay subscribed. Keep liking. Keep sharing. And keep reading comics. Thanks so much, guys. I will talk to you later.